So this is my review of the SGS Black Modular Workshop system. Originally I wanted to get this system, although I looked at some reviews on YouTube and the doors looked a little flimsy, like it was from B&Q or something like that. The black system, Sealy sell it, a number of other places, which looks a bit more substantial, but SGS also do a stainless steel version, which is slightly different in that it's on wheels. So having a look at all of the systems, I decided on this one, the black system. But there is a problem. When you go on the SGS website, most of the time, pretty much everything is out of stock. So I wasn't really sure what to do about that until I rang them up. So they said it was the upper units that were out of stock, this one here, and if I replaced that unit with this unit, the roll top one, they could effectively do me the set I wanted, which was this one, by adding the extra cupboard to effectively give me this system, but in the black. So not even 50% of the way through, but the cupboards came all in one box. They're not fully built up, which I didn't expect, but they clip together pretty easily. The quality's really good so far. So first impressions are kind of okay. The drawers and everything are okay. The amount of packaging is absolutely ludicrous, but you know, there's three roller cabinet doors. This one, unfortunately, the other two were in the box taped up, with the doors taped open, so they're kind of resting against a solid back. This one out the box was, the tape had failed and the door was down. So I think this unit's been sitting on its back and gravity's been pushing against that from when it's come abroad, and it's just obviously spent weeks, if not months, sitting with gravity acting on that, and it's bored, and I've tried to pull it out and pull it forward and it's not working. So I think that cabinet, I'm going to have to ask for a replacement on that one. I will say the instructions are terrible. So the wardrobe ones are quite good. So there was an individual booklet for the wardrobe, which was over here. Fairly reasonable, apart from you look in on page 1, it says you get this many bolts, kind of like self-tappers kind of thing, this many bolts here, this many nuts, and a load of caps. And nowhere in any of the instructions does it tell you what the caps are for. Can't see anything. So it's talking about D's for the thing. There's no D on that page, no D on that page, no D on that page, no D on that page. Got no D's. Got all these W7s, no D's, no D's. That back instruction, I've got no clue what it's talking about. Really don't. There's no writing on them. Even if it was in Chinese and I could use Google Lens or something like that to translate, it would be better than none at all. But there's nothing. That's the only cabinet that's turned up with specific instructions for that cabinet. All the other ones have just turned up with this generic booklet, and they're absolutely useless. So when you're looking at it, so basically I've effectively got this system here with another cupboard on the end. So the roller cabinet's in the middle. So is that framed? Is there a frame around it? Is it not? What support the worktop? Just doesn't say. Also, when you look at the back of all the instructions, on every single cabinet, it only shows the thin bars, and in the deliveries come thick bars and thin bars. So there's no pictures, there's no nothing. So I've taken a guess that because this unit in the middle, well, there isn't one, this rolls out and effectively creates leg space to make a desk. That one's kind of weak, and there's nothing really for that panel to bolt to other than that cabinet. So this middle one, I bolted that one, and then I bolted a double one on the end. So I put the double one there and I put the double one there. This cabinet's on and it's loose, but it's a mile away from the top and it's really sagging forward, even though I've had a spirit level on this and it's dead level. Absolutely dead level. So everything's tight, everything's flush to the back. So obviously I haven't tightened it up yet, but even when I tighten it up, inside there are these holes, and it's like, cool, well, these holes have got to align with the holes on the cupboard, because these holes do, and this unit bolts to the cupboard, so everything's nice and rigid. It feels really strong, so that's good. But there are no holes up there, and when I have a look on the inside of the cupboard, there's no corresponding holes there either, on the top shelf or the bottom. So, not really sure what we do about that. I've rang SGS, and they don't know, because they've never put it together, which is poor. I've asked for some pictures and they don't have any, so they've just referred me to the pictures on the website. So that's kind of poor, because this set's quite expensive. Fortunately, that light's going to be in the way, so the next thing I've got to do is unwire that light and take it down. Next things to do is to deal with the aftermath. So that cupboard was the last one that I assembled. And I took it out the box and I laid all the panels out on cardboard on the floor like I did with the last one. And then when I came to grab the bag of accessories, which is the feet, a number of screws for the bottom and some to hold the top and the bottom on, I could not find the bag. And it turns out I'd thrown it away in haste getting this stuff out, or it had dropped out into that pile. Now this pile wasn't just that pile, the pile was all of that cardboard over there. So before I go any further, ultimately I'm going to have to bite the bullet, and it's going to have to be a couple of runs to the tip for cardboard and for polystyrene. So all the cardboard is over there. Incidentally, I found the bag, obviously, because that's how I've been able to put it together. But yeah, just bear in mind that this system, you need a lot of room. You just need a lot of room to space everything out and just unpackage it. Otherwise, you'd be doing it a box at a time, going to the tip, a box at a time, doing it, going to the tip. Cool, so this is where I'm at with it now. So broadly, it's all together. What I've actually done is, so if you look at these back panels, we've still got that problem. I've removed this unit, and you can see, it's quite hard to see in the camera, but anyway, there's a lot of wobble. In the instructions, I have potentially made a bit of a realisation. So, in the instructions here, whenever it's talking about a cabinet, it does not at any point mention the wide bars. The only way I've got the wide bars from, where to put them, is in the pictures on the website, just saying where to put them. So that's fine. So that's where I've put those. In the corners, now, in the instructions, it does say something about, let's have a look and see, have a look for the page. It talks about the thin bars at the top and bolting them together. So it's here. And in all the pictures, it's got two thin bars. So it doesn't have thick bars, it has two thin bars, and it's telling you to bolt them together. But interestingly, what it does say further back in the manual is there's a double cabinet. Now that to me looks suspiciously like the back of the cupboard. And on that cupboard, it's got one pole just up the side. Now, it said before, I've got no idea what that page is on about. So it shows a screw bolting in from the front to the back. And there's a broad there's an inkling of a line here, but it doesn't go right in the edge. It kind of goes somewhere in by 4 to 6 inches. But I think what that's saying is, if you're going to have the cupboard and you're going to have cabinets, you need to install another one of the thin bars on the cupboard, and you bolt it in from the front. And that does make a reasonable amount of sense, because when you open the cupboards, pretty much in, so these poles are mounted here, and inside the cupboard there's a corresponding hole there, and there's a corresponding hole there. So there are holes there to bolt one of those poles in. So if I bolted those poles to the bottom, to the cupboard, and then at the top, I could use the notches at the top to bolt the two together, and that would make that back panel really rigid. So I have basically done the same video as this, and I've sent it to SGS and said, look, is this right? Am I not supposed to have another two thin poles to bolt to the back of the wardrobes? Plan B would also be, if we had the unit on here, there's holes in the side, there's two holes, I could just drill into the cabinet and put a couple of bolts in, and that would make the whole thing rigid, and it would cost nothing other than the price of the bolts. But again, slightly annoying, and I don't want to, I've got step drills and whatnot, so I could do a decent job, cover it with masking tape and filling it in. I've made the decision not to go with the roll top cabinets. One was broken anyway, and they're just really poor quality. The roll top on it's plastic. They deform really easily, and even when they're closed on the ones, that's perfect. So one of them had damage in the top left corner, one of them the door's damaged, the other one's perfect, but even when the perfect one, you close it, there's like a 5 to 8 mil gap all the way along the bottom. So anything you've got in the cupboards, you get like a flash of whatever colour it is, and to me that just looks naff, and it shouldn't be like that. The rest of it's really good quality. I'm very, very happy with it. But those units were going to let it down. So I've emailed them back and said, look, I want to send these back, 2 for damage, 1 because it's not very good, and I just want to wait to get the upper unit. And I've asked them about the side poles, and I've shown them the instructions. So a few steps forward, a few steps back. Got on to SGS about the issue. I showed them the wobble in the back of the frames. I showed them the picture in here where it looks like there's supposed to be a bar going onto the back of the wardrobe. And while they said in the package that I bought, you don't normally get bars either side, they agreed that that would solve the problem. And as a result, have sent me 2 extra bars. So the thing I need to do now is to unscrew, take the tabletop off, unscrew the 2 screws for the wardrobes, pull them forwards, screw another one of these bars on the back, put some screws through the side, bolt it all back together and push it all back. Now, to be able to clear the floor and have some workspace, obviously I've had to fill the cupboards up, so the first thing I've got to do is take all of that out. I did find out where those little grub screws that were shown as included in the parts list, but I didn't know where they were. There's holes either side, not really sure what the holes are for in the cupboards at this height, but there were 6 bungs in each of the wardrobe packs. There's 2 on that side if you've got a unit, and on the other side there's 4 there. So that just trims it up and actually makes it look nice and neat. So unfortunately the top units did get sent back. As it stands at the moment, they are just refunding me for those because they don't have the ones I want in stock, and I've just got to wait. So in the interim, I have bought a 4-bar socket with USBs, which are all individually switchable, which is quite cool. That's going to go through this hole here. It will Velcro. I love this stuff, 50mm Velcro just from Screwfix, self-adhesive. So a strip will go down there, that'll go there. In addition to that, the light that was on the top, I've just hacked into the wall and put in a fuse spare. I remembered to change the fuse for a 3-amp fuse because when you buy them from any of the electrical outlets, they always come with a 13. And I actually had a spare power supply with some lights off our old kitchen install off our old house, and they fit no problems at all. So that's been wired up. That will sit on top of the shelves. When it's done, this will all get cable tied up and all look nice and neat. Fortunately for me, the front units, when they arrive, actually mount from the front. So you screw your screws into these holes like a keyhole slot, the slot on there, and they can bolt from the front. So I won't need to take this apart again when the new cabinets arrive. So I will pull this apart, get the bars on, and we will get this bolted together on in situ, get that on, and then we'll talk about what I like about it and what I don't like about the system when we're finished. So we've screwed the thin bar to the back of one of the wardrobes, and there's a screw hole at the bottom and one up, and then there's no other screw hole all the way to the top. Now inside the wardrobe, inside the cupboard, there is another couple of holes, and one is here, which is about in the middle of one shelf down, and there's another one just below that really. So actually there's one on the middle shelf, one on the second off top shelf. There is no hole near the top. So again, it's only attached at the bottom and there's loads of play. So I don't think bolting this to that is going to make much difference. Now granted, the weight of the cabinets on the front are going to pull the unit towards us, and the fact that the wardrobe's in the way and it's bolted to here is going to stop that. You know, it's going to like rest on the wardrobe, but it's not physically attached to anything. And again, that's kind of poor. I'm not really sure why there isn't a hole in the wardrobe or in the rail up here. Don't know why. So the decision is, do I just go ahead and put a hole in there? And I think I will, because that's going to give me the best fastening. If I put one hole in here, I can even use that screw. It doesn't need to have one in the middle. I can put a hole here just where the step drill bit, straight through the pair of them. That should be fine. And then really, it only needs coupling up right at the top, which I can do once the unit's pushed back in situ. If I use these holes to screw the two together like I have on all the back panels, that means the entire unit over the full length has to be off the wall, to the point where I could stand behind it to screw this bar to that bar. And that's a pain. The fact that this unit is screwed to this unit on the bottom level is fine. And the fact that this panel will be screwed on this little notch up here, I think would be fine as well, as long as there's a screw going through there. So I'm just going to do it with no guidance from SGS, but that's just rubbish. So we're going to have to do a bit of modification and fix that. But it really should come with a hole in both the cupboard and here. So we measured 6 centimeters down from the top, smack bang in the middle. Automatic center punched it. I've gone in with a small bolt drill bit just to make a hole, and then we've gone in with a stepper drill bit, and it's gone to second hole down, which is 8mm. So we've done an 8mm hole straight through the bar and the cabinet, and then we'll just line that up and stick a bolt through, and we're going to bolt it from the inside the same as the other two. Cool, so that screws in. So it's got the 3 in, I've left the 3 in, 2 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and now pull that, doesn't move at all. So once I've got those 2 bolts for the bottom cabinet and the 1 bridging bolt at the top, I'm hoping that's going to be enough, but we'll find out in just a second. So here's another bit of legendary engineering for the UK market. 3-pin plug, you've got your power outlet to plug it in behind and run cords in front of it, and the hole is too small for a standard UK plug. So I'll have to figure out how to get this plug through there. So that looks like we've accomplished that by pulling the ring out, squashing it sideways to put the plug through, and then the plug. To be fair, the moulded plug on this 4-bar extension was on the chunky side, and it is a moulded plug. It's got these big divots on the side to put your fingers in for grip. So this is just unnecessary plastic. So with a little bit of a Stanley, I've just had to very slightly trim the edges. But again, I'd still say that's an oversight. Obviously, it wouldn't have stopped me fitting it. Ultimately, we could have cut the plug off, run the wire through, and then put a different plug on. But again, slightly annoying. Cool, so the wardrobe upright's been screwed on, and at the top they bolt together just by putting a bolt through the slot. The one on the cupboard, I've fitted it obviously on the standard holes drilled in the cupboard further down, and it sits quite low. It sits probably 5 or 6mm low. It's hard to see because the phone doesn't want to focus. But anyway, it's enough for the grooves to line up to the point where I can get the nut and bolt on. If I find this is an issue, I just need to take this back off and put a bigger washer on, and that should be okay. But the good thing, or the main thing, is that I can get to this bolt from the top without having to take everything off the wall, pull everything forward. So that's this side done. Other side to do, bolt that together, and then we'll get it all back together. So we're all back together, back against the wall. It's not all back together, I've got to put all the tops on and the doors back on. But no wobble on that corner at all. There is a bit of wobble in the middle. We'll figure that out. Once these units are in, if I drill through the units, I mean, there might be a hole. I can't remember if there's a hole in the units, and I've sent them back now. When the new ones turn up, if there's a hole in the middle, I'm hoping they'll just bolt to each other, and that'll make that really rigid along the top. It'll take out any wobble on the back panel, so that'd be cool. Because at the moment, the middle bit, and that's reasonable because there's no unit here. That was my choice. So, you know, ultimately, if I've ended up have to put some kind of bracket up here, well, you know, that is what it is, but that's okay. But like I say, bolting the units together will take a lot of the slack off. Put the worktop on, hopefully all the holes will line up. I may need to jiggle the feet because I've had it all off the wall, so it might have gone slightly out of level, but we'll put the worktop back on and then refill all the units. So the upper units have turned up eventually. Today is the 4th of April, 2025. I ordered the original set, the original units which were up there. I ordered them on the 17th of December. So when things go out of stock at SGS, they really are out of stock. There's been multiple phone calls and multiple checkups. I've been given multiple dates, and it's never kind of happened. And I ordered these just a couple of days ago. So they've turned up quite quick once they were in stock, but again, it's taken, what, 3 months, 3.5 months for it to be in stock, but we'll get on and fit these. So that's it all together finally. Everything's bolted together. So the big question is, was it worth the wait to wait for the gas uplift ones over the roller shutter ones? And I mean, yeah, I suppose. I mean, they're certainly much better quality. There's a tiny, tiny little imperfection and a ding there, but it's not worth sending it back for that because this unit's now, like I say, 3 or 4 months old and has been used a lot. And there's dings and scrapes all over the place because it just gets used, and not a garage queen. This stuff will get used. It is, despite being bolted internally to itself, to each drawer, to each unit, top and bottom, there's still quite a bit of flex. So basically this hole needs to go further forward to be contained at the back. The bolts at the back are more than enough to keep the back line of those units rigid, but there's just not enough support at the front. So I may drill some more holes through. I shall use these for a little bit and just make sure I don't invalidate any warranties by drilling through it, and just in case there's a problem with gas struts or anything like that. But really it wants holes putting in, probably nearer the front, into the wardrobes, into the cupboards. That'll firm that up, and it needs probably just one near the front and the middle on this unit, and that'll put it all together. I would say that the doors don't open at 90 degrees, so it's a little bit hampered getting in. But on the roller shutter only went to there anyway, so it's no more or less restrictive than the roller shutter. And yeah, it's definitely better in operation than the roller shutter. I see on their instruction manual they do underlights as part of the kit, but I didn't see them on the website. I've just put some low voltage with a transformer above downlights, and they are just 3M taped on at the moment. We'll see how they stick in the next couple of months. If they don't stick, I may have to pop rivet them on, which again, once I know the cabinets are okay, if I've got to drill an extra couple of holes in it, that's okay. So yeah, in general, pretty good for the unit. Service, they're super friendly on the phone. When I did have a problem with the upper units, they took them back, no problem. I haven't had any of the issues other guys have had on the internet with poor delivery or stuff getting damaged, really. The upper units that were damaged, they were damaged in transit from the factory. That wasn't the UK-based delivery drivers doing anything rough with them. They were just like that, you could tell. So that was okay. They're a bit bad for getting back to you, if I'm honest. So I've rang multiple times to get dates on this, and I've been told the 4th of February, the 24th of February, the 14th of February. The dates kept moving, and it wasn't until I rang on probably the very end of March, they said it's going to be the 3rd of April. And as it turns out, these went on their website as in stock on the 2nd of April, about 8 o'clock at night. The only bit I'm not super enamoured with is this unit here. The bin, while it looks cool, the bin's like pretty unusably small. It fills up immediately, emptying it all the time. So that's a lot of lost space just to have a bin. The roller, there's not really any tear off, so if you're trying to get one off one-handed, that's a pain. Some of their competition's got like a serrated edge or something on the top to help you tear that off. So I would say that unit's probably, you'd have been better off with drawers than that, to be honest. That's not getting a lot of use. And when this roller cabinet comes out, it's got these really strange kind of runners on the side, which I'm guessing is just to not mark that side of the cabinet, and they come with these little ends, and every time you put the cabinet in, those ends pop off. So I've tried hot gluing them on, and the hot glue just comes off. Super glue doesn't work. Can maybe try silicone. So they probably need to come up with a better solution for this little bump strip on the corner. But that said, pretty happy with it. The only, I said I was going to look at one of the other units to do that I know a lot of people slate on YouTube. That's got an advantage over this one, and the advantage on the other one is the keys. So for this one, because it's all sold as an individual unit, each set of keys are individual of that unit. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 different keys. Okay, you'll say that's more secure, but I can't imagine these locks are desperately easy to break into. Desperately hard, rather, to break into anyway. So if someone wants to get in, they're going to get in, and having 4 different keys is just a pain. So it'd be cool if they sold a lock set that had the same key for all of them. But that wasn't an option. Also, the underlights in their instruction manual, I didn't see them online. That would be cool as well if they fit the standard holes. But yeah, it's a pretty neat unit. So this is the other unit. This unit was my original one that I've used for probably 5 years now. This is not an SGS sourced piece, but you can see that SGS do sell versions of this, and it's clear they're all made in the same factory. This one was actually from Homebase that I got on a good deal for about £800 when it was on sale again, before the company had gone bust and when it was on sale about 5 years ago. Now, I have seen quite a few guys effectively buy the all stainless steel version of this from SGS, and they've all turned up damaged, and I mean really badly damaged, to the point where you wouldn't even get it out of the box. I don't know why people would see this box with a massive dent in it and not just send it back. And they've built up units with big caved in sides and that. But anyway, straight from Homebase, I picked this up from the shop myself, so I didn't have to worry about that. Good quality. The opening doors like that are really handy, and it makes the maximum use of space. Would kind of be cool if those other units just had opening doors, because the gas pneumatic up and over doors, while they look cool, they're not that practical for getting stuff in. What I like about this one is every lock, well, everything's locked for a start. So whereas that unit's got 4 locks for the whole thing, this is individually locked. 1, 2, 3, 4 locks, all the drawers, both left and right, and then there's another one there. So there's actually 5 locks on this cabinet, and they all run the same key. And pretty coolly, don't know if you can see that, but it's green, so when it's locked, it's red, so you can see straight away. If it's red, you know it's locked. If it's green, you know it's open. It's a cool little feature. You wouldn't think it would be that big a deal, but it's super handy, and having one key to lock all of this up is much better than that. The casters this one come with are better than the casters that come on that set, even though this is significantly cheaper, a significantly cheaper unit. The only downside is the pegboard. So the pegboard are just holes, and on the back of this I've got a load of paint samples. They call these speed shapes, and these just simply lift off. So if you are slamming and banging cupboards, which obviously you shouldn't do, but if you do, it's very easy for those to come out and all of your speed shapes fall off. And on the other side of the board, I've usually got a load of rolls of tape, and I've just taken them off just so you can see what I'm talking about. But I've got a load of rolls of tape here, and again, when you lift the roll of tape up, if it knocks the peg falls out, and then you end up with stuff all over the desk. So that's a bit annoying. These square ones, when they first turned up, I thought, oh, that's a pain because you can't get any pegboards like that. Well, you can, and these are the ones. Again, I don't see them on the SGS website, and I really should sell them if they're selling the kit. But these were unfortunately limb butt ones. So it's got perfo butt hooks, and these lock in. So there's a little plastic bit where you turn it. And again, because it's been months since I fitted this, I can't actually remember how these go in. But I'm sure you do them by 1/8 of a turn, not 1/4 of a turn, and then they lift out. But once they're in, and you put this little plastic locking bit in, so that just goes in 1/8 and then locks down. They can't come out. So none of this issue when I'm lifting tape off these coming out. So this is now, I've kind of moved units for purposes. I now do all taping up on this unit, and all of the all my tapes go in here, and I never get them falling off. So that's a much better pegboard than the other one. So advantages and disadvantages. That wins on the pegboard. That wins, to be honest, on the quality and value for money, on the casters, on the locks. The drawers just feel better. I prefer the runners on this unit. I prefer the doors on this unit. But, you know, and one of the reasons I bought that unit was because one thing I struggled with is this worktop's not very deep. But actually, when this turned up, I just presumed it would be like 600mm deep. And to be fair, I didn't check, but it's the same. So while the units are very, very slightly deeper by maybe 2 inches, 50mm, it's broadly the same. So it's just ended up with extra workspace. But just bear that in mind. So, yeah, good quality at a price, 50/50 service. I mean, good people to speak to, all really nice. But yeah, again, just a couple of small niggly issues.